Long before the pyramids became eternal symbols, Egypt was already a land of gods, rituals, and sacred power. From the mighty temples of Karnak to the small shrines in village homes, divine forces ruled every part of life. Pharaohs, believed to be gods themselves, walked among mortals, ensuring harmony between heaven and earth. Among these gods were Ammonius, Ra, Osiris, Isis, and countless others, each commanding devotion, wealth, and fear. Priests held lands, resources, and influence rivaling that of kings. Tradition was sacred. Change was dangerous. And yet, in the midst of this unshakable world, a young prince was growing up, one who would soon challenge everything. Amenhotep IV, the boy who would become Akhenaten, was unlike other princes. While his brothers learned the arts of war, chariotry, and diplomacy, he wandered alone in temple courtyards, studied the sun, and pondered questions the court deemed strange. Whispers in the palace described him as distant, contemplative, and obsessed with the golden disk that rose every morning. In 1353 BC, he ascended to the throne at a young age. Egypt expected a traditional ruler, one who would honor the gods, the priests, and the established order. But Amenhotep IV had something entirely different in mind. Almost immediately, Amenhotep IV declared a radical vision: the sun disk, Aten, was the one true God, the source of all life. All other gods were false, he proclaimed. In an act that shocked Egypt, he changed his name to Akhenaten, servant of the sun. For the first time, a pharaoh sought to dismantle centuries of religious tradition, to replace the pantheon with a single divine focus. It was bold, revolutionary, and dangerous. Monuments were inscribed with hymns to Aten, praising the god's rays as the giver of life. Art transformed. Pharaohs were no longer idealized as youthful, muscular figures, they became elongated, almost ethereal. The world itself seemed to bend under the light of this new religion. But power has its guardians. The priests of Ammonius, Egypt's wealthiest and most influential, could not accept their sudden displacement. Temples once brimming with offerings were emptied. Lands and resources were seized. Names of the old gods were chiseled from walls. The kingdom teetered. Citizens were confused. Merchants and soldiers whispered unease. Egypt's lifeblood, the union of religion and governance, was fractured. Akhenaten's vision demanded obedience, yet obedience came with fear and resentment. To escape the influence of the old gods and the ever-watchful priests, Akhenaten built a new city from the desert sands, Akhetaten, the horizon of the sun. Here, temples had open roofs. Light poured in. Walls were adorned with the golden rays of Aten, embracing the pharaoh and his family. Thousands of laborers toiled day and night, carving limestone and raising monuments that defied centuries of Egyptian architectural norms. Akhetaten was more than a city, it was a statement, a vision made concrete, a kingdom bathed in sunlight. Yet while the city shone, the Nile, Egypt's lifeline, grew restless. Old alliances weakened. The nation's borders, once unyielding, became vulnerable. By Akhenaten's side stood Queen Nefertiti, whose beauty, grace, and presence remain immortal in sculptures and reliefs. Together, they appeared in public, not as distant monarchs, but as a family. They kissed, held their children, and worshipped Aten openly. It was a vision of devotion, but also a sign of how different their world had become. Yet beauty alone could not save a nation. While the pharaoh and his queen lived in a golden dream, Egypt's military and administration suffered from neglect. Letters arrived from vassal states, desperate pleas etched on clay tablets: "Send troops, or we perish." Akhenaten answered none. He believed that Aten's power would protect Egypt. But religion cannot fight armies. Borders weakened. The Hittites and other neighboring powers pressed into Egyptian territory. The Nile Valley, once the jewel of the ancient world, trembled under the weight of inaction. After 17 years on the throne, Akhenaten's life ended in mystery. Some claim illness, others whisper assassination, perhaps by those who resisted his religious revolution. Whatever the truth, his death marked the beginning of Egypt's swift response to erase his memory. Akhetaten was abandoned. Temples were torn down. Statues shattered. Names were scratched from stone. Pharaohs and scribes pretended Akhenaten never existed. Centuries later, when archaeologists unearthed the ruins, they discovered a city of sunlight buried in sand. A forgotten dream. A radical vision that dared to challenge the very foundation of Egyptian belief. Akhenaten's story is one of vision, courage, and tragedy. He dared to see the world differently, to place one god above all others, and to redefine the role of a pharaoh. Some call him a heretic, others a visionary. His reign was short, his methods extreme, and his legacy almost obliterated. Yet, through the remnants of art, letters, and ruins, history remembers him. Akhenaten, the pharaoh who tried to erase a god, reminds us that human ambition, faith, and folly are eternal, and that even the brightest sun can cast long shadows.